Good morning, lovelies. So nice to have you here with me. Welcome. Today I'm going to be getting ready with a Met Gala look by JLo. JLo's artist Scott Barnes not too long ago did a video with Tati Westbrook showing us how he achieves this bronzed glowy look for all of JLo's videos and photo shoots and all that sort of thing. Obviously a very heavy look for Kinder drop off and a few appointments today, so I'm going to be making it a lot more every day, but still applying some of those key techniques that he taught us through Tati's video. So here we go. So to start off, I just moisturized like a crazy person. Oh, I love this moisturizer anyway, so I'm happy to do it all the way down into the neck, not forgetting the back obviously, because there's nothing covering the back of my neck as well. And we're going to start with some highlighting and contouring. Add a tiny bit of my mineral sunscreen lotion as well, or any brightening under eye cream that you have. This is where you'd want to apply some. So yeah, that already made a really big difference to the under eye area, and you can already see in the light there's quite a bit of glowiness going on already, which is a part of his signature. And let's get into the actual contouring and highlighting that he does. Now he uses quite a lot of concealer, he doesn't use a primer or anything like that, but because we're making it a little bit more every day, I will still be highlighting the way I always do, with some light powder to set this moisturizer. But for contour I'll show you what I'll do. So the main areas I'm going to be setting with this lighter powder is just through the brow here, over the eyes, obviously moisturized there too, and very important under the eyes. Any area you want to bring forward, this is where the light goes. So I'm going to go in a bit of a V shape just through the inner cheek here, into the nose, and a little bit underneath the nose. The other thing I really want to do is make my neck a little bit more obvious, so I'm just going to put a little bit more on just the sides of the neck. I'm also going to take this opportunity to cover up anything I want to cover up as well. Now, using the very same brush, I'm just going to do a bit of contouring. Now I'm going to use a dark shade of bronzer for this, just because that's what works with my skin. I have a very cool toned bronzer for this, but any dark powder foundation would be appropriate right now. The darkest shade I have looks like this. That's just not going to do anything for me contour wise. So I'm just going to go a little bit darker, or a little bit deeper, more appropriately said, with what's left of this bronzer. So see, it's quite cool toned against my very yellow skin, so I can do that. But if you have a dark foundation, or if you have even a very neutral toned eyeshadow, this would work right now. So what I've done is cheekbones, just following that hollow there, all around the hairline, just literally this width though, no lower than that. I mean, if you have a really large forehead, or you want to cover something, you know, really bring that hairline down for whatever reason, by all means go lower, but that's as far as I'm going to go. I did the chin because I don't like how much my chin sticks out. He actually brings both Tati's and JLo's chins forward to make them a bit more prominent in photographs. That doesn't work on my anatomy. And what he calls snatchel, so right along the jawline, recreating that line. So hiding the double chin basically. You really don't want to go too low, so anything that you can see on the neck doesn't get bronzed, only the jawline itself. Same as here, so don't go too deep. Now the next bit, I'm going to take a very small brush, probably like an eyebrow brush. If you have a little small fluffy brush like that, that'll be fine too. And just a little bit of product, and really finding that bone there. But if it's crooked, obviously don't follow it completely. Create a new line. Just very, very lightly. Create two lines, side by side. So he makes a comment on his video that you don't want to look like you're behind bars, which is exactly what it's looking like now. You can really, really see it, but we're going to be using a little bit more powder in the appropriate skin tone to blend this all in. So at this point, if you wanted to use a cream product, you absolutely could. Just make sure you're using it on a moist like this. So this isn't moist, but you can use something like this for a cream product at this stage. Just be very careful to really pounce rather than rub, so that you don't shift any of the contour. Even if you used a cream contour, it would still shift. So really just pouncing, just color correcting rather than covering up all this work. I'm going to use a huge kabuki brush like this, a shade of powder, so it's pretty perfect to what my skin is. And I'm just going to do that same pouncing action. Okay, there it is. You can use something like that if you had any fine lines you wanted to clean up, or any extra blending you wanted to do. You can also, of course, use a dry beauty blender. You can even use a wet beauty blender. Just be very careful about shifting product. Her look at the Met Gala this year was a purple, cool toned look. I'm going to go into my first edition BH Cosmetic palette, so it kind of looks like that. That's way too much product, but just to show you guys. Bring some of that off, and we're going to start creating an arch right over this crease. So you can go into it, that's okay, just a little, but mostly just to create a really nice cloudy look. Okay, so there it is. The only tip that I would definitely give, and this has been my plan with this look, is to create the smokiness on these base colours straight away. So even though we'll be doing more blending later, I really wanted this to be all the way up to there, really smoked out. So now we can deepen it with a darker, cool purple. You can use a flat black brush like this, or you can use a tiny little blending brush to achieve this. I'm going to go with this because I really want to find that crease for my particular eye shape. And I'm using an almost grey-black shade of purple because I really do want to maintain that cool tone. So what I'm going to do is just press it in or stamp it lightly into where I want my crease to be. Not necessarily the anatomic crease, but where the crease is when I look straight ahead. So that's a little bit higher for me than where it is anatomically. And anyone that's got a little bit of a hood, that's going to be the case. You just want to go ever so slightly higher than your actual crease, but really respect the shape. There we go. That's both eyes done. I'm just going to take my clean now brush that I used to put that first colour on and just really just sweep it a little. And just keep doing that until you're happy with the transition between the two colours. Next we're going to do the lid. And she had this beautiful silvery lid. At this point you can put a little bit of primer on your eyelid if you want to create a very stark separation between the two. I think that we'll be able to get away without that. The lid's already primed and moisturised originally, but this is where you could do sort of like a half cut crease. But now I'm going to do just in with a very lightly shimmered white kind of silver, and just again kind of stamping it onto the lid. Okay, I'm just using a small brush like this. This is the exact same one that I used for contouring before on my nose. It's just really easy to control where the product's going, and it doesn't do much blending because it's not too fluffy, so I don't get any sort of fallout or anything like that. The other thing you could do is you could wet the brush with some setting spray at this point as well. I know these colours are really pigmented, so I didn't think I needed to, but if your colours are more sheer, that's something you could do. I'm going to use a small blending brush for this next bit, but you could totally use a little pencil brush, you know, just for a bit more control. I'm going to go back into that first purple I used and really smoke out the bottom of my lid and start creating that V. Once that's done, I will use a pencil brush this time and really going in to the very edges of the lashes and a little bit up into the crease just to deepen that crease a little bit again. So my new thing for wetting brushes is actually spray the lid of my setting spray and just dip it ever so slightly. So I just place the product in a V with this tiny little brush, and now I'm just going to smoke it out and into the colours that surround it. Mostly that lighter purple. Then get that kind of a look at the end. Okay, it's time to highlight. So I'm going to use the highlighter by Nutrimedics. I'm going to use it out of their brow palette because I'm just going to go in, as always. This looks like the same brush, but it's actually a different one, the exact same size, just the eyeshadow brush. This is a Nutrimedics brush, by the way, guys. So just under the brow and sweeping out to create the shape. I know it looks heavy, we're about to blend. It's a very stark, very pigmented colour, that's why it looks this way. Usually the highlighters I use are quite sheer. And I'm actually going to dip back into that colour, but with a really big brush, highlighting brush, and just go on the very top of my cheekbones. Okay, and bronzing. And last but not least, I'm just going to go in with a little bit of very light pink blush just to bring a bit of colour into that cheek. Okay, so I did a little bit of purple eyeshadow to line the tops of my lids because I don't have my purple eyeliner suddenly. But I did go for a slightly warmer purple just to brighten up that bit of the lid, because if I had used my liner it would have been a little bit more of a plum. So I just stuck with that, but you can use anything, even a black. I used a black liner for the actual outer corner just to create a little bit of a wing. In her look she's got a black smoky inner lid with glitter. We were doing more of a day look, so I did a white inner lid and added a bit more highlight in the corners there. Obviously mascara, did the bronzer and blusher, and a nude lip. So just to finish off, I'm just going to use a really nice sheer pink lip gloss just to make it a bit more of that wet look that JLo and Scott Barnes are known for. Just through the centre there. My lips are a little bit overlined, as you can tell, and just to respect the look, but yeah, I think that we are very much ready to go. It's a little bit glam for day, I think. If I did this look again for a day look, I probably would not go as high up with the blending, but then it wouldn't be the same J-Lo look, but you know, just to adopt it even more for a daytime aesthetic, then I would probably just keep it a little bit less smoky. But I think it looks great. I mean, honestly, I'm going to get out of this jumper and into something nicer, and I think that it will tone it down a little as well. So pretty. I know you'll probably never hear this, but thank you, Scott Barnes, for creating this look. It's so amazing, so pretty, and I really enjoyed trying to take some inspiration from it, and I really love wearing it today. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming along on the journey with me. I hope you can click subscribe and click the bell, because I'm going to try and keep producing 2 videos a week every week that I can, so you'll be notified when that happens. Leave me a comment, keep me up on Instagram or Facebook on my pages. Yeah, so I hope you try this at home too. Purple is, it's a statement color, but it's so nice, it's so pretty, so feminine. Please try it, and I hope you have an amazing day. See you next time. Bye.